everyone, welcome back to Witchy Words with Zabora. I'm your host, Zabora, and today's witchy word is folk magic. Now, I do apologize if I sound a little funny. I am kind of congested. There is a fire going on around here, and it's kind of playing havoc with my sinuses, so I'm congested, okay? Sorry. So let's go ahead and look at folk magic. Now, folk magic is any attempt to practice charms, spells, etc. to control events or people. And that doesn't really give any kind of distinction between folk magic and, say, ceremonial magic or priestly magic or whatever it is you want to call it. So I actually prefer to look at it as a magical practice of the common people rather than the ceremonial magic that was practiced by the learned elites. Now, if you look at ancient Egypt, there are several different types of priests, okay? You have the priests, like the high priests, that would dedicate their entire lives to the service of a specific god in a temple. They're the ones that would have the knowledge of hieroglyphs, how to perform rituals. The knowledge would have been passed down to them from their predecessors. So that would have been like a ceremonial, ritualized, magical practitioner. A common person would have been somebody who would simply throw a pot shard behind somebody as they left a room to get rid of negativity, okay, rather than invoking a specific deity. Now, folk magic is, of course, tied to a standing mythology, and most, if not all, cultures that had folk practices would have had them pre-industrial revolution, okay? So this folk magic isn't tied to any one specific set of practices. And I only say that because I actually heard someone say that folk practices have to be specifically tied to Christianity and the ATRs, and that's just wrong. Everybody had folk practices, okay? So you have Norse folk people who would have been practicing things that the Vulvas would not have been doing. You would have had Celtic people practicing things that the Druids would have been doing, or at least attempting to replicate it. Uncle Birch says the folk magician is basically trying to replicate what they saw a witch do. And while that is kind of anecdotal, at best, it is kind of accurate. Whether or not they were attempting to replicate something they saw is irrelevant. It just would not have been the standard ritualized practice of the religious leaders, okay? So I hope this has been enlightening. That is it for tonight, guys. Sun up day.